Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We're back for another discussion with Mark. Today, the subject matter is Bitcoin operating in your world. Mark, can you elaborate?
We have fiat currency. Did you know less than 1.5 years ago, very few people knew what fiat currency was? And then they figured out it's a piece of paper that acts as a promissory note. In other words, they don't have it. When the reason why I would issue you a IOU because I'm saying I owe you, which is what your banknotes are. And the reason why I'm issuing you that is because I don't have it. So therefore I owe you something in the future. That's called fiat currency. The audience have now come to understand this intimately, meaning they don't have the money in their pocket. What they are open to is the whims of what you call inflation, which is 100% controlled, or deflation, inflation, which means that they are either going to increase the value of the pound note or the euro or the dollar at their whim, or they're going to decrease the value of it. What does that mean in real terms? So let's take a loaf of bread. If you take a loaf of bread, it's worth $1. Let's imagine it's worth $1 for the equivalent exchange of a loaf of bread. You understand that? Now, all of a sudden, it costs you $1.50 for that same loaf of bread that cost you $1 yesterday. That means you have lost 50% of the value of your dollar, because you have to now add another 50 cents in order to buy the loaf of bread. You understand this. So in terms of abundance, that $1 loaf of bread can now be costing you 50 cents, which means you have gained 50% edge on your money. But the point is, that mechanism is not controlled by you, by negotiation as a negotiating instrument. The shop says, that's how much I want for it. If you don't like it, F off. And that's what the situation that you're left in. Everybody understands that. You put your money into the bank. Do you own it? No. Once you put it into the bank, you're giving them custodial sentence. You are once again open to the whim of whether the bank releases the funds to you or not. So much so, they can even now ask you, what are you going to use the money for? To hell with you. I'm not telling you. It's my business. Then they say, we're not going to give you the money. What's Bitcoin got to do with anything? Well, Bitcoin takes out that middleman that sits between you and I and simply says, I'm not going to ask you, because there is no middleman. The middleman is just going to be the computer program that allows the exchange of my will with your will, whether that's a loaf of bread or whatever it is. And that one bit of a Bitcoin is the value of that one bit of a Bitcoin. And it's not open to the whims of the central banking system, which is the owner of the fiat currency. Now, here's a little secret I'll tell people. The Bank of International Settlements, quite literally international settlements, means that they're supposed to settle the bills. They're supposed to settle the IOUs. Why doesn't that happen? It's because they reversed the tables on you. They made you the debtor, whereas they were issuing the debt instruments. You get it? Because the fiat currency is a debt instrument. So what does Bitcoin do? What is the beauty of Bitcoin? It takes you completely and utterly outside of the control of the central banks, of the so-called regulators who work and are paid by the banks. And it takes you and completely removes you. And if you pass away with 10 Bitcoins in your wallet, you pass away with 10 coins in your wallet. Nobody is going to get access to it. Quite literally, you can take your money to the grave.
And with inheritance tax that they're coming for you when you die. They are after you when you die, and it is absolutely disgusting how much money they take from the dead.
Yeah, up to 30%, 40%, and etc. Now, what a business to tax the dead. When you die, how dare you die? But I'll give you the secret of what the inheritance tax is. You see, when you are alive, what they're doing is that they're making money from you because you're adding to the value of their monetary system, and also you're adding a small percentage into the social system and supporting your family with it. So when you die, what they're saying to you, there is a price, there is a cost to you killing yourself with McDonald's. There is a cost you killing yourself with this. And if you've died of old age, it doesn't really matter because you are taking value money, fiat money, promissory notes away from our system. And because of that, you're going to have to now pay a penalty for dying. Quite literally, they're saying you're going to have to pay a penalty for you dying. And because of this, this is how they made up what they call inheritance tax. What does inheritance tax mean? It means no heritage tax.
Yeah, the in means no.
The in means no. You're not paying anything. But if you are part of the fiction world with the fiction mind, then you will pay the inheritance tax. But if you are the aristocrat, what do you get? You get your heritage. And that's how that tax system works. That's why my teachings do what they do. We sue them to pay our inheritance. We sue them to pay our inheritance. We sue them to pay our taxes. And they don't want to know. Wonder why? Because that's the world of facts. That's the power of the Tricks and Traps course, as hundreds of my Tricks and Traps students can testify.
Yes.
Yeah. So, they go onto my website and they get all that information. It's there. At the moment, I think it's less than 0.5% of the population that has access to Bitcoin. They're going to have to wake up to the fact that you're going to have to bypass the middleman. The middleman will keep you poor. And when you die, they will tax even that poverty because you had the audacity to pass away, to die. And therefore you have to pay a levy to leave this planet. You understand? So there is no peace.
Even when you die, there's no peace. There's no getting out of it. They will still literally rape you in your grave.
Correct. Grave robbing is what they do. Grave robbing.
Grave digging, yeah.
So unless they go for the Bitcoin and learn how Bitcoin works, they're going to be stuck. Yeah. So it is inevitable that the current system will collapse because Bitcoin has now put everybody in a position where they can transfer their wealth into that.
Dependently, should we say?
Yeah, so they will now decide what they're going to do with that money, if it is money. I'm using these words intermittently. Yeah. But they got to understand the gold coin that I have in my pocket is not a liability to me. When I have $50 or £50 in my pocket, I'm at the whim of whether that money goes up or down. But a silver eagle or a gold eagle will buy you the same things that it did 2,000 years ago. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. So what goes up and down? It's fiat currency. So the dollar that my great grandmother, father gave me as a, shall we say, a Julius Caesar coin, bought me the same things as it bought them, 2,000 years ago. That's in my pocket. That's a non-deflationary value. Okay, and they can find all this information out they can find all this information out in